My first bold prediction, Brock Bowers, the best tight end in the draft, one of the better pass catchers, even including the wide receivers. Brock Bowers will be a top 10 pick. No doubt in my mind. Look, I know the Jets at the back end are a team that's very willing. I wouldn't be surprised if a team like the Cardinals or the Chargers, if they moved around to really go in this direction with the selection. And I think the Titans are a sneaky team too. A lot of people keep giving them offensive linemen. If you feel like that's a position of need and you might think that the tackles and the guards you might be able to get a little bit later because of the depth, I think Brock Bowers could be a legitimate selection. If you want to surround Will Levis with a strong core, you got Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard, you got Calvin Ridley and D-Hop with Brock Bowers. Sheesh. If not, I honestly think that there's teams in between the 10 to 16 range that could really trade up to get a guy like this. No doubt in my mind. Brock Bowers will be a top 10 pick. You can go bet that. After talking about Brock Bowers, I feel like it's only right that we discuss the quarterback position. There's been so many rumors. There's been so many mock drafts. There's been so many different teams in positioning. It's like, yo, what direction are these quarterbacks really going to go? Who are these organizations going to pick? I'm going to tell you right now, J.J. McCarthy will not, I promise you, will not be selected inside the top 6. I just think that, the mock drafts are fun and all the quarterback talk is great, but there's defenders, there's offensive tackles that are going to be selected before a guy like that. I just don't think that we're going to see 4 quarterbacks go in a row. I really don't. And I feel like it's getting kind of harder to see 3 quarterbacks even go in a row. And look, I know the Commanders are a quarterback-needy team, the Patriots are a quarterback-needy team, but they could love one guy out of all of that. And there's been a lot of rumors and questions about Jaden Daniels and his agent and what's really been going on through all those conversations. I wouldn't, the Patriots could very much draft a wide receiver. They could draft a tackle. They could move back. There is no sure thing about what the Patriots are going to do at 3, and that's going to affect J.J. McCarthy's draft stock. As much as everyone's talked about, J.J. McCarthy and the Giants, I think the Giants could be in the quarterback market, but I'm not sure that J.J. McCarthy would be that guy. If you see a May or a Daniels fall a little bit, that's when I feel like you could either see them bounce around or stay put at 6 and draft one of those guys, but J.J. McCarthy will fall out of the top 6. That is a guarantee, but watch out for teams like the Raiders moving up for a quarterback. Watch out for teams like the Broncos that could potentially move up for a quarterback. There are a lot of quarterback needy teams, and if you love a guy and you think he's your guy, there is no capital that's too much to move up to select him. Let's keep that in mind. But let's also keep the quarterback conversation going because Bo Nix will not be selected in the first round. Not a chance. I think that if there's another quarterback that goes outside of the Williams, McCarthy, May, and Daniels conversation, it will be Michael Penix. And I do think that Michael Penix can go as early as 13. I just gave you guys a mock draft, and I'll give you a little glimpse into it. I have the Raiders selecting Michael Penix in the first round of this year's draft, but it's not at 13. So you're just going to have to go and check out the mock draft to find out what trade I had going on, where he was selected, and how that all worked out because it was wild. But Bo Nix, I don't feel like he's the next guy to be selected. I think he has a lot of great collegiate experience, but I just don't think he has the talent or ability that wows you. I think he could be a good bridge quarterback. I think in the right system, he can give you Brock Purdy type of an element at that position. But I just feel like we really need to pump these brakes here with the whole top 10, top 12 talk with a guy like Bo Nix. If Denver was to do some crazy wild shit here at 12 and draft Bo Nix, they would be setting themselves up for failure, and Sean Payton would be on the hot seat right away this year for the rest of the season going into next year. Absolutely no doubt in my mind. So with all those impacts we talked about at the quarterback position, everybody talks about, oh, this is a wide receiver heavy draft. There's so many great defensive backs. Offensive tackle, that's the most deep position in this entire draft, especially when you're talking about the first round. I know that there's been a lot of conversations around guys like Alt, Fashanu, Guyton, Latham about potentially being, some serious contenders for that top 10. I think we're going to see 1, maybe 2 at the absolute most offensive linemen selected in the top 10. But 10 to 22, 25, that range, we realistically could see 7, 8 offensive linemen counting tackles and interior guys go off the board. No doubt, no questions asked, anything like that. I think it's a very realistic chance. My most selected position in round 1 is offensive tackles, and I put my money on my mouth is, and you guys can find out from my DraftKings account on draft night when I share that paid ticket with you all. The last bold prediction. There's going to be trades in this first round. It might not happen at the top 4 or 5 selections where everyone says that it might. The Patriots could trade, the Cardinals could trade, the Chargers could trade. But I think that there's going to be a lot of movement around that 8 to 20 range. Where's Brian Thomas going to go? How far does Cooper DeJean fall? Brock Bowers, Byron Murphy, the cornerback position, and Nate Wiggins, Quinion Mitchell, and Terrion Arnold. This can shake out so many different ways that could affect the number of trades that happen. I know a team like the Buffalo Bills are trying to move up for a wide receiver, trying to get one of those dynamic playmakers right now to help Josh Allen. There's going to be 6 trades or more in round 1. And it's going to be electric. We've waited so long for draft night. We really get a good glimpse of what's going to go on and happen in the NFL season. I'm so excited. Check out my mock draft to see the way everything's going to work out. Follow along on Instagram on our live for draft night to react to all the selections. We're going to grade all these players and see what teams really drop the ball because we know it happens every year. But there's going to be surprises too. And I'm excited to see what happens. We have so much coming out for draft content and everything else around the NFL. You guys know the deal. Peace, love, 5 stars, nothing less.